How do I become a police officer? It's one of the most common questions asked by anybody visiting a law enforcement or first responders type of page. And you know what? It's a very good question. And I'm going to go through the steps with you. But first, I'm going to tell you what you don't do if you want to become a police officer. And this could also hurt your chances before you even apply. If you take what I'm about to say as some sort of personal attack or criticism, well then maybe you've actually done this already. It's not an insult, okay? Learn how to take some criticism. In fact, maybe that should be the first lesson. Learn how to take criticism, because if you don't, it's going to be a long career. Over the years, I've received thousands of comments from people who said that they were interested in becoming a police officer, interested in a career in law enforcement. And that is no exaggeration at all. Tens of thousands. And they would usually start the same way. Hey, I love what you're doing. I want to be a cop. It's my dream job. Where do I start? Where do I begin? What do I need? What are the requirements? Being a police officer requires some investigative skills, even at the most basic levels to start. Yeah, you'll do some training and such, but you should know something going into it. And if you're going onto the page of a police officer, or even worse, an official police recruiting page, and your questions are, how do I become a police officer? Where do I start? What are the requirements? What are the first steps? Well then listen, I'm sorry, but maybe the job isn't for you. That may sound harsh, but it's really not a good impression to make. I mean, you're going to go on a page, especially when you say it's your lifelong dream to become a police officer. It's your lifelong dream, and not once have you even looked at the requirements or where to start. All right, let's get going with this. There's multiple steps to the application process or the hiring process before you receive your offer of employment. So a lot of police services require a certificate before you can even apply to the police service. Most services in Ontario require the OACP certificate. There's 3 parts to the certificate, and once you receive it, then you can apply. Okay, first off, you need to complete the OACP testing. Again, Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police testing, and get your certificate. Just do this on any search engine, okay? Or Google OACP certificate. You go to the page. Near the top, there's a video. I think it's only about 2.5 minutes long. Watch the video. It'll explain a few things, what those 3 parts are. The first is an information section, and the next 2 are exams. You have to complete those exams. You pass them, you get your certificate, and you're now eligible to apply to any police service in the province. Next, you complete the application form and the PBQ. Now don't get scared, okay? What's a PBQ? The pre-background questionnaire. I get all caught up in those initials as well. Everybody has to fill them out. The application process, or the application form you fill out, will be specific to the police service that you applied for, naturally. All right, quick story here, because I tell a story every video, and it's kind of my way of getting a point across. And it's an unfortunate story. So a few months ago, I posted to different social media platforms the fact that somebody sent in an application with the wrong police service name on the application. They sent it in, and it was thrown out. So this person was obviously applying to multiple different police services. They wrote the wrong police service name on the application. They sent it out. The recruiters immediately thrown it out. Now, some of the comments were kind of brutal, and they didn't agree with that decision, especially at a time when they're having such a hard time finding suitable candidates. I was actually okay with that decision, and I backed it up, because the importance of paying attention to detail, especially in policing, it could be a difference for victims of crime, for suspects of crime. It could be the difference whether somebody's set free or they're going to do 5-6 years in jail. I mean, there's no room for error in police. I say paperwork, but it's mostly done on a computer. Having said that, yes, we all make mistakes. But at that stage in the career, at the beginning of the process, I think that was just going a little too far. Let me know what you think. Next, the physical examination. You'll probably know what that is before you even apply. But there's lots of different police services that run practice, prep tests, physical tests, absolutely free of charge at different locations throughout the year. Just call up the local police service that you're thinking about joining. If they have one, great. If not, then call up another one, sign up. If you pass that, you're going to have to complete vision and hearing tests. All those requirements can be found on the website. Next, you'll complete the LFI and the LFA. Here we go again with those initials. LFI is the local focus interview, the LFA, the local focus assessment, and the ECI, which is the essential competency interview. You'll be called in to complete these if you pass the previous steps by the police service that you applied to. And I'm going to be honest, there's a lot to these interviews, but once again, I'm sure that you've already looked into it if you've made it this far. All the requirements can be found online. If you pass these, you'll be asked to complete the written psychological testing, as well as complete the psychological interview. Sigma interview, Sigma test, depending on the police service preference that you apply to. There's a lot of people that think they can trick these tests, that there's a way to go about it. And listen, if you think so, good luck. You're going to get weeded out, and you probably should be weeded out. There's no tricks here, okay? During the later stages of this process, they're going to be completing an in-depth background investigation, very in-depth, and they might be scheduling a home interview. Not all police services have home interviews. They may schedule one with you, or like they did in my case, they may just drop by unexpectedly. This is how my home visit went, okay? No word of a lie. I was working on my garage at the time on one of my dirt bikes. I had to work out some of the old fuel, and it was smoking in there. I had to keep it revved quite a bit because I was working things through the carburetor. So I had that sucker revved up. There was smoke flying out of the garage. I could barely see out. People barely see in. This guy pulls up. I thought he was going to see my neighbor. Pulls up, and he was walking up my driveway. I had that thing going. I had to tell him, like, give me a minute while I kept that thing going. And when it shut down, I walked up. I'm like, hey, sorry about that, man. He's like, you Randy Arsenault? Okay, showed me his badge. Yeah, just doing my home visit. See you later. I was like, okay, that's it? He's like, yeah, see you later. Have a good day. And he walked away. I'm like, do you need me to do anything, man? I thought I failed. I thought just because maybe I looked rude, maybe he thought I was being obnoxious, having that smoke in the garage, whatever the case was. I thought I was failed. I thought I'd never hear back. That's exactly how my home visit went. All right, last point here. Final step. You need a medical exam and perhaps some pre-board fitness training. All these requirements are online. I have another story about how my medical exam went, and now's not the time to share. I don't know if I will ever share that one, but that's it. If everything works out, you pass all these, you receive your conditional offer of employment. Congratulations. This entire process takes a lot of dedication and preparation. There's people that have prepared for years and they still don't make it. It's not easy, and it shouldn't be easy. I didn't make it through my first time. Pappy didn't make it through his first time. I've worked with dozens of officers who have climbed the ranks, and they're fantastic officers who tried 3 and 4 times. It's not easy, and it shouldn't be. I'm going to provide an excellent resource, somebody who's worked with hundreds of officers through every step of the way, guided them through the process with a lot of success. This person's also agreed to be a guest on my channel. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm going to put them all together, and I'll make sure that they're covered, okay? I'll put their link in the description. Stay tuned for more details on that. I'm also including another video Pappy and I made a few years ago. Maybe you can see the link now. It's advice for new police officers. We didn't plan it. We did it completely on the fly. Let me know what you think. Listen, folks, thank you so much for paying attention. Again, if you have a question you want covered, leave it in the comments, and we'll be sure to get to it. Until the next video, be safe out there. Look after one another, and perhaps we will see you again.